flip the switch.
Oh.
Talk to the people. You're on
People.
the air.
People.
We are on the air. People.
Well, welcome to Smalltalk with Matt and John. And today we have our new exciting guest, George Grace.
Hello, George.
Hello. How are you, John?
We're doing pretty good.
Okay. I am too.
Yeah, you are.
I
You
am.
sure are. Yeah, you're a local poet and artist and man about town. You've done all sorts of exciting. You're a chess master.
Not quite a chess master, but I have played in some major tournaments. Yeah, a long time ago.
That is pretty impressive. That's and you've met famous chess guys.
Oh yeah. Oh well, Spassky.
People.
Yeah.
Spassky. He was talking about his major tournaments. You know, having been a playboy in Soviet Union,
Famous chess
and how he had fast cars and fast women, and then he come and play Fischer.
Yeah.
And Fischer was blah 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 blah. and yeah. But I also had a claim to fame where I was analyzing a game between my ex-roommate and this guy named Frankel who had hair all over the place, and all of a sudden, Chess Immortality, Pal Banco, there's an opening named after him.
Yeah.
He walks in and he's friends with this guy, Frankel, who came over from Georgian SSR.
Whoa.
And they're analyzing the game, and Frankel's going, I move this and this and this and this and this, and I win. And he moves everything back, and he does, and I do this and this, and I win. And everybody's looking over this thing, and at one point, Frankel gets into a certain position, and he goes, and I win. And I said, wait, hold it. What if he does this? And I moved the knight into a certain position, and everybody did this, you know. And Banco, Chess Immortality, he goes, then I think you don't win, Frankel. I think you lose here. And he says, you always think you win. If you win all the time, how come you're not world champion? This was chess. And, you know, these guys could just scrape me off any time. But I found one move where Chess Immortality said to me, you found a winning move.
Oh, wow. See,
Yeah.
at points like that in my life, I generally embarrass myself. And then it was like there's a long silence, and they said a thank you, and they tried to be polite, but but that's cool though.
Oh yeah, and Sammy Reshevsky, who was one of the very best chess players in the world and who gave Fischer fits. He signed, I was in the last round of my first World Open, and I saw him. He was about this tall and about 192 years old. And I said, could you autograph this for good luck because I'm up on the days.
Yeah.
You know, and he said, oh, you young guys, you flatter me. And he signed it, and I won the game and got some money and went away from the tournament. Happy.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Well,
So right now we are on Facebook Live for the first time ever in Small Talk Big Thoughts history. This is a groundbreaking moment.
Yeah.
So I'd like to encourage our viewers on our Facebook Live feed to comment. You can contribute to our show.
Yeah.
I like that.
Who are we to tell you what our show should be about?
Yeah, Bert.
Right.
You are the audience. You're our show. Who are we, John and I, to tell you what our show should be about?
Yeah.
So
Right.
tell us. What do you want to hear? What do you want to know?
We got a call.
This is a true democracy.
It's democracy in its finest, and you're the dictators, and we're not out here telling you what to say.
Yeah.
So comment, and I'm monitoring.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thanks for tuning in. If you are tuning in,
Yeah.
They would be feeding you on your computer.
yeah, I'm monitoring the hashtags and the posts and the likes and the views.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Right
probably going to me. Get rid of that bimbo. Hashtag.
Well, maybe they'll say, "Hey,
Hashtag.
we hate this guy. Get him off."
Yeah.
Then we'll have to get you off. But maybe they say we love him and they want us to keep recording for another 3 hours.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, what do you think about? Okay, do you despair for the future, having like grown up? Or you think things are getting worse or better? Or?
I think they're getting worse and better at the same time. You know, for example, medical treatment. You know, you
You were saying you beat the big C.
the big C. Well, knock on wood.
Yeah.
So far, so good. After
Yeah.
3 years, 3.5 years, cancer-free, lung cancer.
Good for you.
I also got a flu shot, which paralyzed me for 2 weeks. And they gave me 4 bags of immunoglobulin intravenous.
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, squeeze my fingers." And so I grabbed a finger, and they said, "Have you started squeezing yet?" So they'll tell you how much strength I lost.
Yeah.
I couldn't lift my hand an inch.
Yeah, it must be a different. I would imagine it's scary. I mean,
Well, I wasn't scared so much as I wanted to get to the bottom of it.
Okay.
You know, I wanted to, give me a diagnosis. And it turned out while I was waiting for the neurologist to take me in, it was from a flu shot. And at that, I am not advising people to skip the flu shots.
oh, good for you. Yeah.
Because far more people die of the flu than they do. I mean, this is curable.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not comfortable to be paralyzed. If you have a chance to experience that, John,
Yeah.
tell them that you're going to wash your hair, and next week you're going to dry it, and you got to be able to move skip the paralysis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you ever do get paralyzed for any reason, make sure you have a very strong advocate for you.
Oh, okay, Matt.
I'll be your advocate.
Yeah, okay, remember.
Okay, he'll be
What do
the
I advocate for?
Okay, keep me alive. I remember I might have Grandma's gold. Let's see. Don't take any of my organs out while I'm still kicking. Once I'm dead, you can take them. Once I'm dead, you can take all the organs. Yeah, I go on record. When I am actually dead, you can take everything.
Take everything.
Take it.
Take it.
And your art? What do we do with your art?
You can have it. You can have the art. You can have the art.
What if I don't want the art?
Oh, give it to people. You know what you do? You
Give it to the needy.
give it to different people. You know what? Everybody will take something they like. They can give it away. Yeah, give it to you. Yeah.
They can make Jell-O out of our fingernails.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, not unlike horses, they could grind our bones into
That's
different
right.
things for magical things.
Compost. Human compost.
Yeah, right. You know, I was reading about the history of Jell-O. It was here in Leroy,
Yeah.
New York, where they had the first Jell-O factory. And the guy who started it offered to sell it because it wasn't doing well initially. He offered to sell it for $35. And the guy turned it down. And then between 1898, anyway, in a few years, it was making $250,000 a year.
Ooh, jolly.
And his son ended up selling it for $65 million in 1925, and then General Foods took it over. Kraft General Foods, the makers of cheese food products.
Oh.
Kraft.
Gotta love that.
Nothing says,
Kraft.
I want to declare war on my stomach like Kraft. I'm sorry, was that our sponsor?
Yeah. Like, hey,
Well,
craft bashing.
Speaking of sponsors, we are actively recruiting sponsors. So if you'd like to sponsor us and give us money,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna stop you.
Just give us
No,
money.
no, you don't want anybody to stop you.
Yeah, we don't want to stop. Yeah.
I won't. I won't
If
stop.
you're thinking, if you're on the edge, you should jump and give us money because
Yeah. Yeah.
we're struggling, starving artists.
Yeah.
Oh, you wouldn't like it. It's just filthy lucre. That's all it is.
What's
you
that,
know,
being a starving artist?
Yeah, it's just filthy lucre. It would just
it's a hard
ruin
time.
your.
Oh, okay. Maybe we're better off without all that money then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay then. Okay. Potential sponsors. Okay, put your money back in your pocket.
Yeah, don't give us the money.
Okay, give it to
Give it to us so that we can give it to people that need it.
Oh yeah, we'll give it to
They
other
just
artists.
trust us. Just blindly
The old
trust
bounce
us.
off the hand,
Yeah.
and
The gold money laundering scheme.
Hey, yeah.
So, wait, I want you to tell us about your book.
Okay.
Okay, that's great.
This is my first. I self-published my first chapbook, American Stonehenge and Other Poems. There we go, right there.
Cool.
Now, and I've written 2 other books of poetry.
Yeah.
Night Wanes, Dawn, and Stealing America, a poetic memoir of Bethlehem Steel. And it's coming out in a second edition in the next couple of weeks, a new and improved edition. This is called Just 12 More Poems and Other Works. This is a quote from one of my poems. I'll explain that in a minute. But this is a writers group that I founded with one Michael Delaney. It's been going on for 11 years, and we've had a good number of writers in there. And we decided this year, in our 11th year, to put together an anthology. And it's really good. This is I just got the galley proof today.
Where can people get that?
Well, we're going to have readings. We're going to have book launch at tentatively at Art Space. Within the next couple of weeks. Cool. We want to make sure that it's properly advertised. You know. But we have Manny Freed used to be in this. But the playwright, he passed away a few years ago.
And that's a great illustration on the cover. You know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My artwork. The 12 More Poems comes from a poem that I wrote, which is included in here. If I may read it, it's called For the Man in the Third Row, Second Seat from the Left at my poetry reading. I'm sorry, after seeing your glazed eyes, half-open mouth, and blue nostrils, for thinking you a dullard. Perhaps my 10-minute poet's bio was a little excessive. I didn't have to list every publication credit, including 3-watt ads I wrote for the Penny Saver. Could have omitted details about my love of everything from butterflies and oatmeal to origami and stamp collecting. Didn't need to name every pet I ever owned and the 3 girls who gave me Valentine's Day cards back in the 1st grade. For this, I'm sorry. I need to apologize, too, for the 2-minute-long introductions to my haikus, for reading the poems I scribbled on the bus ride over, for editing while reading them aloud, and my ongoing self-critiques. This line sucks, and I need a better verb here. We're a little over the top. I also want to apologize for announcing I will finish by reading just 12 more poems. In retrospect, that was a little selfish, with 6 poets waiting to read after me. Had I heard that, I might have had a cerebral hemorrhage right there on the spot. But I was so absorbed with the thrill of reading to a live audience that I never considered the possibility that you, the man in the 3rd row, 2nd seat from the left, who never once smiled, nodded, or clapped, might be dead.
Yeah.
That said, I wonder if you were still alive when I read my 6-part poem about Grandma's gnarled hands. It has a line that Carl Dennis once commented on, which is saying something because he won a Pulitzer for poetry. I sure hope you didn't die without hearing it first. Thank you.
Clap. Yeah.
That's because of the numerous poetry readings that I've gone to where, I've actually heard, I'm only going to read 12 more poems.
Yeah.
You've already gone 10 minutes over your time.
Is that like a personal story? Like some guy was like, that guy is like not getting me type of thing? Or is that just a general?
Oh, I invented this guy,
Yeah.
But, some people are so self-absorbed in their reading that they just never consider that there may be people waiting to go up after, or 5-minute introductions to haikus. Really, you're going to go on for 5 minutes and then go, and then they're done, and move on to the next one. So it kind of pulls together all these faux pas. I once went to a reading with 100. I once went to a reading. I won't mention any names, but the entire audience, out of the entire audience, there were 3 people who could kind of speak Spanish.
Huh.
Everybody else spoke English. And the poet, who spoke both languages, read all of her poetry for half an hour in Spanish. That is not a way to communicate.
Yeah.
And it caused a little controversy when I complained about that on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
A real mess.
Yeah, it's tough doing the Facebook back and forth thing where you don't know who you're. It's like sometimes you're interacting with friends of your friends.
Yeah.
Or like I've been the bad joke guy, where people have been like I'm trying to write something I think it might be funny, but then there'll be like, are you being, I don't know, like anti whatever, and I'm just trying to. You can't show sarcasm, or you can't do or like you're trying to maybe give a polite critique, and it comes out as like. It's like, oh no, this person now thinks I'm coming from somewhere where I'm not.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's you're just trying.
Faces have, they have micro expressions.
Yeah.
You raise your brow a certain way
Yeah.
in telling a joke, and it sounds like I'm insulting you, but then I'll raise my brow a certain way, and you'll go, oh, he's joking, and you'll know that instinctively.
Yeah.
Microaggressions.
Yeah.
That's all possible.
Micro things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All these micro things got to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So, yeah, and on Facebook, it's hard to, you have to be very careful about nuances. And I stirred up quite a storm of controversy. And the defender of the person, two of the defenders of the person who did give the reading in Spanish, blamed it on the audience for not learning Spanish. We didn't do research on the poet.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
yeah.
What kind of argument is that? We give up sex, drugs, rock and roll, self-flagellation, brushing our hair, taking showers, petting our cats to go to a poetry reading.
Yeah.
You want to make the communication.
You'd be at home self-flagellating.
Yeah, right.
For God's sake,
While listening,
Yeah.
But what started me on this was that I went to a reading back. I had a friend who was kind of like he was a beat poet, like B-level beat poet, but he knew Jack Kerouac, Allen Ginsberg. He knew all the big names.
Whoa.
And he dragged me to several of these readings. And I won't mention any names, but these were so-called immortal poets, but beat poets. And they got up on stage, and they just droned. And one of them, before an audience of 300 at the art gallery, he said, well, I was walking through the forest with Bill, and 2 people in the audience went, oh yeah, Bill. Everybody else went, who the hell's Bill? You're an internationally renowned poet. Where do you get that kind of sense that we're really that much into you?
Yeah.
You have to come meet us partway.
Yeah.
We're here to hear you. We want the communication to be successful. So they turned me off so much that I wrote another poem. It was pretty scathing.
Yeah.
But then I heard Ntozake Shange, who wrote for colored girls who've considered suicide when the rainbow isn't enough, and Richard Brautigan.
Yeah.
And I said, that's the kind of poetry and that's the kind of connection that I'd like to make with my audience.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get them laughing. I want to, not everything has to be funny, but even some of the heavy things can have a little bit of levity, a bright, dark bent to them.
That's an amazing thing. Like people who could take words and just and emote people and get people to feel and think and like paint a picture
with words
in their head.
Yeah. And yet, there are a number of academic poets who who send you to they hope to send you to the dankest corners of your local university library, and researching them, and that betrays a certain measure of self-importance that really you have to earn that. One of my heroes is Billy Collins. I went to one of his readings at Chautauqua, and he engages the audience, and he is not very well liked by the actor, even though he's a two-time poet laureate of the United States. I have been in the company of some of these academic poets, and why bother? I have so many other things I'd rather do with my life, really.
What makes someone a good poet versus a shitty poet?
How would you determine that?
Yeah, like, oh, this person's a good poet or this person's not.
A good poet. Well, I think it's how you measure the effectiveness of the communication. After you've heard a good poet, it's like drinking a fine wine. You just had a good a fine wine. Yeah. When you hear a really good poet, you go, "Wow, I'm exhilarated. Something has uplifted me." A shitty poet. You just kind of sit there, and I did wait in line for about an hour to get my Billy Collins book signed by him. And I was the last person, and I said, "What do you do when you go to a poetry reading, even by some of these so-called legends?" And they just kind of drone on. He says, "I get up and leave." I said, "Of course you do." Yeah, sure. Sure, you get up and leave. They have no right. If you have been teaching at a major poetry at a major university, you've been earning your living, you got your nice house, and you drive a nice car, and you have no debts or whatever, and people are buying your books, like my dream at Chautauqua. There were lines of people. Tables stacked with Billy Collins books, and they were all marching out of there. They were selling like crazy.
Oh, okay.
That's my. And if people are doing that, you're doing something right. And I'm not saying you have to pander to the audience. He stretches the limits of the imagination. You don't want to do it where people get through the poem and go, "What did I just hear? And why did I sit through this?" You don't want to do that. Do you feel like I wish people were more poetic? I feel we've kind of lost. Like, we're not as literate as we are probably because of the phones and
with emojis.
Yeah. Here I'm even searching for words to express myself. Like way back when, people wouldn't have that problem.
You're talking about like a post-literate society. That's a little bit of a problem. I have people who, rather than spell out T-O or T-O-O, they write two. They put the number two.
Slang.
Uh-oh. We had something sensitive here.
Triggered.
My parents would buy old autograph books, and they were fascinating because people would write in script, like poems to other people, and a lot of things would be about death, but these were like poems, like well put together, well thought out things. Whereas like when I was like a kid, if I wrote somebody's autograph, see you next summer. But like these are like from the 1800s or 1901, and people would, and it was just amazing. Like and these were like everyday people would just write in these wonderful
cursive,
things about. It's not just the way it looked, but they would say something very intelligent and poignant, and it's just a shame that I do feel that we don't have that today. Like if you listen to modern music, even like the quality. Just a
lot of competition for your attention. Did you ever see the Civil War series, Ken Burns' Civil War series?
Yes.
Remember the letter from Sullivan Ballou to his wife?
God. And
which brings tears.
Dude. That was just a regular dude writing his wife. there'll be a ghost on your skin.
Oh, Sarah, but Sarah, if you hear my feel the breeze against your cheek, it's me. And you can't walk away from that with a dry eye.
Cry.
Yeah.
The writing was just, and this was
Just some guy.
some guy, a soldier, just.
Yeah.
And he died the next day at I think it was the Battle of Bull Run, Manassas
See?
2
He
or
need to
something.
die tragically for art to become prominent and valuable and
Yeah.
worthwhile. Because if that guy wrote that poem and then he just lived, then it wouldn't really make
He
sense.
might not have.
Well, yeah.
Because then he wouldn't be the wind that he wrote about.
Yeah, right. But it was a tearjerker.
Yeah, it was.
You hear that, and then they play Ashokan Farewell,
think
the
people-
song with the fiddle.
Yeah, they played.
It just breaks your heart.
Do you think
know.
people cry and their hearts are break when they watch our art or this podcast?
Oh.
This is kind of like our modern poetry. Do you think people cry?
They might be crying for reasons that might not be that.
Are we evoking emotions in you viewers?
They might be like
Comment.
Tear jerking, yes.
Comment.
We
Are we
are
evoking emotions in you? Are
You?
they negative or positive?
Yes, you out there.
We have
the-
some
the
viewers. We have
Facebook?
some eyeballs.
what does the
Some one.
computer screen say?
It says we have one eyeball.
Okay,
That's us. That's our eyeball. That's us. 'Cause then when I log out, it's zero.
Hashtag one eyeball.
Hashtag struggling.
Yeah.
Hashtag.
grown.
But it's not about the viewers. Because great artists, if they cared about what the eyeballs or the people, then they wouldn't make great art. They have to reach into their souls, into inner depth, and then express it, and then other people then see it. And
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Well, I on that topic, I am delighted to report that my wife, who joined us, she, we'd have the meeting, the writers group at our house, and she would come in, she'd write a little something, but she's been bitten by the poetry bug, and I mean big time. So the Buffalo News published her poem last Sunday on the poetry page. First, and she was the featured writer the next day at this reading series called Circle Formants, which I started in 1984, but it's been taken over by one Lynn Shizelski. And her poem, the Steel Plant Museum, right around the corner from where you work, the director called me up or emailed me and asked me if she was any relation. I said my wife, and he said, could you ask her if we could blow that poem up? It was about the steel plant, about her father, who was also a steel worker. He wants to blow it up and make to poster size and post it in the steel plant museum. And I couldn't be prouder for my wife. And it's in here. There was an excerpt here. If it would be okay for me to read it.
Well, yes, you're our guest.
Yeah.
It is. Where is it? Here we go. Okay. I'll get to it. Talk among yourselves.
Oh, yeah.
So this is a perfect time for a word from our sponsors.
Yes.
So here it is.
Oh, yay.
You got a sponsor?
Who are our sponsors?
Let's get another.
Am I our sponsor? Matt and John.
Okay, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed our word from our sponsor.
No word. They've
No
fallen
word.
silent. I think.
That awkward silence could be you paying us money to put your words
Yeah.
on our show on the internet.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
With a couple eyeballs. We got a couple. We got a handful of eyeballs.
Right.
Perhaps you're a drug
So,
company or
let's see,
a weapons manufacturer.
Let's see what the people are saying.
We'll sell out.
Some comments are saying that they love Matt and John and that we are the best podcast they've seen in a while.
Okay.
Thank you, viewer. They wrote
Sure.
that.
We love you,
and-
viewer.
They said this is a great, interesting guest, and then I'm going to tune in and buy his book, even if it's $200.
Yes. Yes. I like that.
And it will be worth every penny. Let me tell you.
My wife wrote this. It's from a longer poem. I had her shorten it to send it for the poetry page. And her father was a steel worker who died of lung cancer, which he contracted from they were milling uranium in the Atoms for Peace program back in the late 40s and early 50s. And the workers would sit there and they'd see these funny sparks coming when they were sawing this strange metal. And the dust would settle in their food and go into their lungs. And they never told any of the workers.
No, it was fine.
You know, the union would have had a fit, I imagine.
Just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, right. And so there was a compensation program for that. Anyway, she wrote, I no longer wonder why I search for my father through old photographs of steel mills for the arrangement of machinery, feel the searing heat oozing sweat from every pore in the open hearth that took 40 years to grind him down. Somewhere between blood-soaked shirts on the picket line and last call at Curly's gin mill, he dreamed in aquamarine of golf games at sunrise, swan dives at sunset, cradled in a hammock on a palm tree beach until his time would drift to a stop.
That's deep.
And she has gotten so many accolades for that, and I couldn't be happier.
That's like a picture of like a whole generation of people. My great grandfather, he worked at the steel mill. You worked at the steel mills too.
Yeah.
The heat with the actual blasting, but
the coal.
But you're building America. It's like it is kind of this amazing male kind of.
Well, chemicals seep into your brains and your lungs.
Yes. Yeah. The chemicals we're creating are destroying us.
Yeah.
How ironic.
Oh, yeah. Well, at that site, the coke ovens where I worked, we were making the energy for the plant, for the blast furnaces and the open hearths and all that.
Yeah.
And at the coke ovens, they would take anthracite and bituminous coal, mix them together.
They don't sound good.
I'm sorry?
They don't sound good.
No, because, well, they mix them and then they put fuel oil in and then they feed them into ovens. There'd be 80 ovens to a battery. They would feed them into ovens and cook the mixtures for, a certain period of time, at 12 hours, 24 hours, at 2,200 degrees. And they would give off incredible gases. Yeah, very.
We've got some viewers. Hey, viewers, what do you think?
They're probably amazed.
Chime in.
Yeah.
Hello.
You got viewers?
We got viewers.
Somebody's viewing.
We have viewers. Hello.
If you're viewing us, hi.
Hello.
Yeah. And we're talking about how the
To
men
make coke.
Yeah.
We have a
Not the coke you snort.
Yeah, not the 70s Coke, but
we have
the
a
more,
comment. The
more
comment
40s and 50s Coke.
here's a message from our viewers.
What does he say?
Ha 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 ha. I don't know if they're laughing at us or with us, but I think it's positive.
Yeah.
Either way, they're laughing. It doesn't matter.
I would say it probably is positive. Thank you.
I think it's positive.
So this coke, they would push it out of the oven. It would fall onto these wharves and onto conveyor belts and take about a 1 mile trip on the conveyor belts over to the blast furnaces. And those were very hot. And a federal mandate many years ago said you can't just let the gases that come out of coke production because it blackened the skies over Lackawanna.
I remember that.
That's a good idea.
When I was a kid, I remember we would drive through Lackawanna. It was going through Mordor.
Yeah.
I remember seeing flames coming out of the smokestacks too.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild, but yeah.
And the senior guy that I worked with said that he remembered when they had street lamps on during the day in Lackawanna. Well, a federal mandate came along and said you got to siphon off that as much of that stuff as possible and condense it and spin it and do whatever you have to do to create byproducts. So they created byproducts, any one of which was more valuable than the actual primary product, which was coke. like ammonium nitrate as a fertilizer or benzol
Wait. So that before that, all that stuff was going to the atmosphere.
It was all going into
So
the atmosphere.
that was
Heck yeah, of course it was.
but they were able to. That was great though, of where they captured it. Then they could make, they could use it, and where that to me shows more about how you put regulations on these companies, and they can make more money, being more environmental.
Yeah, they forced Bethlehem Steel
Yeah.
to make more money. Yeah, right. And they did it, kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
However, at the moment that they were pushing coke out of the ovens, it would create huge black clouds. And I mentioned this particular thing in my book. I was trapped on a stairwell when they were pushing that. And I was in this black cloud, soot, ash, sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, for 2 minutes. Normally they catch the load and go down to a quench station.
Wow.
But I think the machine operator was just kind of shooting the breeze with someone up on the door machine on the battery table.
Wow.
And just left it across this alleyway.
I hate to interrupt, but our conversation is so enthralling that we are just getting lit up on social media by all of our contingency of fans.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
just saying,
Right.
Great conversation. They're in for sponsoring. We got a potential
cool.
sponsor.
Sponsors.
Great, interesting guest. Love Matt and John.
Well, that's
It's
good.
true. Yeah, it's true as a comment.
good to be
I'm in
loved.
for sponsoring. Exclamation point.
It's good to be loved.
We are.
Yeah.
They said, yeah, $200. They'll throw down for the book.
Okay, good. Okay.
So yeah, thanks internet. Thanks viewers. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clap back.
Really?
We're clapping for you, our guest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, I had to jump. After 2 minutes in this cloud, I couldn't go down or up the stairs because it would take me into the flames.
You don't want flames.
So no. Flames are immediate. This was just slow suffocation.
Yeah.
So I climbed over the railing and I jumped 15 feet to the concrete pad below, and I got a month off on compensation. Now when I got back, the office manager who wrote up the report said, "Man panicked and jumped." And I grieved that. I said, I didn't panic. That was the only thing I could do.
You had to do that to live.
To live.
Yeah,
It was the only. And other guy said, "Well, it happened to me, but they just went on." I said, I was in the cloud for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So I got the nickname Free Fall.
It's cool.
It used to be 69. That was my work number, 69.
That has other
ironic.
implications. That does have. But free fall is pretty cool. It's like, yo, free fall.
Yeah, well,
Free fall.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
But then one day, about a year later, the boss came into our shanty and he said, "I got to apologize to you. That happened to me yesterday.
Yeah.
I got trapped there, and I'm putting up a wall across that alleyway now. I'm ordering a wall to be put up." Because they all said, "Well, you're only in the cloud for like 15 seconds as it passes by." I said, this thing was sitting across there for about 2-3 minutes, and if you're 2 minutes in that kind of a cloud, you got to jump.
That's
That was my 9/11 experience. I mean, those people,
jumped.
those poor people
who died.
up there who jumped,
She had a parachute.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you kind of know how they were.
Yeah, except that I survived and
yeah.
I didn't have to jump as far. But the idea is you're in these clouds, you can't see anything, you can't breathe, and you're slowly dying. So you got to jump.
That's life. We're all slowly dying, just
Yeah.
withering away.
Not necessarily. You're still doing good. When you get 40,
It's only because I'm young.
you'll be slowly dying.
I'm too.
Yeah. Once you
By
hit
40,
40, 50,
the decisions I'm making now by 40 will become quite
Well, I'm
apparent.
I'm slowly dying. But I'm doing, actually,
How old are you?
I'm 50 years. This is weird. I'm stronger than I've ever been. I'm like 50 years old. Because I'm
You got
probably,
the old man strength now.
I have old man strength, and I have the old man cunning. And but because I went from being a skinny guy when I was a smoker, then I immediately got a beer belly,
Okay.
And
you
then
gotta try it all before you know which one's for you.
And then I've lost them. I think no, I still have. Anyway, I'm better than I was.
I'm going to quote Stephen Wright here. I have a plan to live forever. So far, so good. No, just look. That's just it. I went to my 50th reunion the other day.
Oh God.
About last weekend, and let's just say we all added something to our waistlines.
Wisdom.
All of us. Well,
Wisdom to your minds.
almost all of us.
That's what you call. This is wisdom.
Yeah, but
Waistline.
Facebook has it's ruined the reunion game because you used to be able to show up to a reunion, not know what's going on. Now you kind of know. You don't know, but you're just checking out in real life.
Yeah.
So you either go to the reunion or you look at the pictures online and make fun of people or comment.
Yeah.
But offline.
You could
people.
do. Yeah.
So,
I went. I missed all my reunions until 10 years ago. I went to my 40th, and
This was Bethlehem Steel reunion, or
no, this was Kensington High School. I went to Kensington High School.
Okay, good.
Graduated in 1969.
Oh,
And I got to say, it's a writer's curiosity. Writers are naturally interested in outcomes. And so I wanted to see what the outcome for a lot of and then you see the list of people who died in 40 years since we graduated.
death, decay,
And you just
despair.
yeah.
So I went to my 50th and saw the list that grew, but it was so great to see some people I hadn't seen in 50 years.
Yeah. See, I forgot almost everybody I went to high school with. I forgot their names.
Yeah.
And I haven't been to any of the
Function, the alumni.
no, any of the reunions. So,
Right.
but it's like, eventually they're all gonna die off. I want to be the last one alive of my school.
You do.
Schoolmates.
Yeah, of my
Yeah,
high
like
school
the
mates. Yeah,
70th reunion, just be chilling there.
yeah.
Where'd you go to high
Like I made-
school?
Frontier Central.
Frontier. Where's that?
Frontier. Okay, that's in Hamburg.
Okay.
I'm just waving to the viewers.
Hey, viewer.
They are loving the product. We're selling it, and they're buying. It is. Thank you. But this show is about you, the viewer. And yeah.
We love that.
So
viewer
yeah,
up there.
we love you, viewer. We don't know who you are.
Yeah,
But
viewers. Yeah,
but the only reason we like you is because you're watching our podcast on a Friday night.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
You could be doing other things, much better things.
No, they couldn't.
No,
They
no,
could
no,
not.
no.
They're going to be doing. What else? They could be doing like running around with their hands in the air, flipping around, doing that.
Beg pardon. That's French,
Yeah.
Anyway, no, it
Staring
couldn't
at
be.
the cracks in the wall, screaming.
Well, let us know. What do you?
Yeah.
What do you?
Phantoms that.
What do
I could
you
be,
want to hear? Us talk. Blabber on about. What do you want us to hear?
Oh, wait.
We don't know.
You know what today is? Today is.
13th of September. Oh,
You know what that means?
it's my parents'
That's-
anniversary.
Oh, is it? Oh,
I didn't say anything to
Oh,
them.
sorry.
Oh, God.
You know.
Well, Mom and Dad, you're viewing. Happy anniversary.
It's-
I'm glad you guys got married.
Yeah, we are. I am too. Yeah, it's also, it's also the Japanese lunar holiday.
Oh.
I think it's called Jukoda. Anyway, they have basically a party for the moon. Which
Moon party.
okay, think of it. The moon. We have the greatest satellite of all the moons in the stupid
best
solar
moon.
system. Yeah,
Gets no love.
all of them look like jerks. All those other moons on Titan and like Titan, Phobios, Deimos, Io. They're all crappy looking moons. Our moon is the most beautiful. It's like we're sitting next to the most beautiful girl in class.
This sounds like
with
some
our
sort of
moon.
like poem. Like how would a poet weave this, the fact that our moon into some sort of, how would we elicit that emotion in others through poetry?
Yeah.
Is it possible? Is there a method to the madness?
It's like a saint. It's a saint up there. It's always beaming. It's perfect.
Although there was a series on PBS about the planets, and they looked at some of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn, and there's one that they think might actually be able to support life.
Yeah.
And encephalus, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's encephalus.
But they some beautiful stuff out there.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at the rings. What are we looking at? We're looking at bathtub rings here,
Yeah, we have nothing.
Especially around like Lake Mead, where the thirsty Southwest is drinking that entire reservoir dry.
Ooh.
I don't know if you know this, but that's down 30 feet from when they first built Hoover Dam.
Oh.
It's literally leaving a bathtub ring.
Oh. That's not. Oh, that's.
Yeah.
Well, I know environmentally all sorts of bad things are going on.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Nothing good. I mean.
Yeah.
I did hear there was. I did read somewhere where there was an overpopulation of squids in the oceans. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
it's probably because some top predators are disappearing, like sharks.
Yeah.
They take like 100 million of them out of the ocean every year, or some incredible number.
Yeah,
God.
Good thing they breed by the tens of thousands, but.
But that's an animal I want to keep. I want to tell scientists out there: do not do anything genetically to sharks. We don't want them to fly. We don't want them to become sentient. We don't want them to burrow under the ground.
What do we want them to
Yeah, good
do?
point.
And let's make them do it.
Stay in the ocean.
Stay in the ocean.
Let's subject them to hard labor. 50 years.
Use their teeth, but
Get maybe other like tunas. They can eat other tunas or the squid.
Seals.
The squid.
And squid. Yeah. Squid. Well, I think the giant squids and the whales. That's kind of a natural animosity.
We should take the sharks and we should put them.
Is somebody getting a phone call?
This is my phone.
Oh.
Bat phone for Batman.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
We should
I'm a
take
slow
the sharks
breather.
and we should embed them in the Amazon, because in the Amazon you have the gators and the pythons are duking out for apex predator status.
Yeah.
So if they're
They do
going
have
at it,
sharks in the Amazon River, freshwater sharks.
The Everglades, Florida Everglades. This is where it's happening. So there's there's the pythons and the gators, and they're duking it out for apex status. So they're going at each other. What if someone just drops some sharks in there? And then the three of them can go at it.
Matt, history tells us adding sharks never helps anything.
Add sharks.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just complicates the whole
Didn't help in the
thing.
Civil War. Didn't help in the civil rights movement.
Or what about Austin Powers? The sharks with lasers on their heads.
Wait,
It could solve
wait.
problems.
Hold on. I just got lost. What did the sharks do during the civil rights movement?
It didn't help. Sharks did not help during the civil rights movement.
Yeah, what were the sharks
It didn't help in the feminist movement. It may have helped a little with gay rights, but for the most part, sharks are a bad idea. Like whether you're or maybe you want a more organic farm or
a koi pond, but with sharks.
No,
That's on my wish list for my farm.
no sharks in the no. Yes.
That whole thing of Shark Week on TV
Yeah,
is
why do you do that week?
really working its way into your consciousness.
Oh yeah. I think Shark is good on Shark Week. Yeah,
And Shark Week.
Sharks is great in Shark Week.
Land Shark Candygram.
Yeah.
Got a Candygram for you, lady.
Yeah.
What about the sharks in a bottle?
Yeah, maybe that's okay. I think maybe a shark might be like, it might be a good friend to like a lonely girl. It'd become a pen pal and inspire her to come out of her shell.
Could
and
be
go
a
to the
big
prom.
help in an anti-bullying campaign.
That's right.
If you mess with me, he's going to gum you to death, or she, as it were.
Or we could use sharks in kind of a gladiator-style battle at Ralph Wilson Stadium, and just have them in the pit and bring out child molesters and criminals, and have them duke it out with the shark. And if they can wrestle the shark in kiddie pool, then they can go free. They
Yeah,
earn their
but
freedom.
the shark would be literally a fish out of water. So
No,
he
they'd have
already
a kiddie pool.
he has the size though, but
But it
he
would
lacks
be like a
the
kiddie pool, so it wouldn't be full water, but it wouldn't be full air. It would be kinda be like
so
being a
halfway,
half
everybody.
half and half.
So the humans would be able to beat it up.
Yeah,
And
from
you-
above. They could stand
and you-
up in the pool.
Oh man.
But I think the thing is, the humans would lose. But you could beat the shark in the head, as it's like tearing your legs off.
Yeah, but
But
Just like in jiu-jitsu, once you got them to the ground, the human could take the shark out.
Great whites, you ever dissect a shark?
No.
They got real little brains. Really, all their nervous system is devoted to mainly one thing.
Yeah.
That
Killing
schnoz, the olfactory lobe.
And they don't. They can't even open up a phone.
No.
It's too bad humans can't. We can't use our brains as weapons. Because we can, but if we could actually use our brain, like whack something with our brain to kill it, like. Because right now it's like, oh yeah, we have big brains, we feel cool about it, but like, we get in the wild, it doesn't matter. The shark brain's gonna.
We could walnuts. We could kill them with our heads, because we have the bigger heads. We've evolved those. Yeah, you ever try to? Yeah, cats can't do that because their heads are very small and delicate. But yeah, humans, we could just bam.
Speaking of cats,
eggs.
I was listening to NPR, and I forget the name. It's someone who studies. It's a science of studying domestic animals, domesticated pets.
Huh.
And I was driving my car and I'm listening to this on NPR, and the guy's talking about cats, and he says, because I have a cat, and he says, hey, geez, it's really interesting. You take like one of those laser pointers and the cat runs back, and why does it do that? There's no hope of reward. Chances are it won't catch the laser thing, the little laser dot. No hope of reward whatsoever. Yeah. Why would a cat do that? And as I'm listening to this, the guy says, well, cats have eyes as big as humans, in that little skull. And they have that a much smaller brain. So all of their, it's all devoted to that, that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And I'm thinking, no shit. That cats don't have any.
There's nothing else going on. It's all eyeballs. It's all everything.
Yeah, nothing computes in that little pea brain except.
But we get critical
that
reasoning.
Little dot. What's that?
Our brain power just goes towards critical reasoning. Is that what our power? Like I want to go to seeing or flying or.
Let me get back to you on that with the critical reasoning thing.
Well, some people don't have much brain power to be able to critical reason.
Yeah,
like
a cogent point, my friend.
I'd much rather have a shark where at least like my sense of smell is just awesome. It was like we don't have any really good senses.
Yeah. Here's an interesting fact about the good old hominids, us folks.
Okay.
We can smell rain better than sharks can smell blood in the water.
No.
Swear to God. Human beings, we have a thing. We can smell rain when it's coming up. We can smell something about the rain better than sharks can smell blood in the water. It's a true fact. I say, listener.
Based on.
Google it.
Google it. Or just take Uncle John or John for his word.
I just heard today, again on NPR, because I listen to NPR, that whenever you Google something, there's been a problem with these Google and Apple and all these places that have these supercomputers.
The data.
And that they use so much energy. Their carbon footprint is so immense. Now, Google has added a lot of solar panels, but they say that just Googling something, you use 60 watts. It's the equivalent of 60 watts of a light bulb for 17 seconds.
Oh, God.
Just Googling. And they're also thinking of moving a lot of these companies, like there's one of the companies is down in Nevada where it's extremely hot in the summer, and they're thinking of moving all these operations north to like Finland and Sweden so that they don't have to use a lot of energy to keep their facilities and their computers cooled down. Because if you're in the desert, you have to. Huge. So that's a huge carbon footprint.
Well, luckily, men like me and my coworkers are working hard on that problem.
One solar panel at a time.
That's right. One solar panel at a time.
That's right.
A better place.
That's right. Well, let's get those batteries going, though.
That's right. Yeah. Well, if you're a Tesla, you got to work on the battery. Tesla's working hard on their batteries. Panasonic, though, by the way, has has batteries to go with their solar panels, and you could buy them today.
For $19.99.
Something like
In
that.
the future.
Yeah, in the fooder. Yeah, they're making them better. They're making them like more efficient. They're working away. Yeah.
Hard
Is
workers
that
like
right?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they are making them. They are getting better, like power output all the time. Like
okay.
Since I started, they went up. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I guess as we discussed earlier, the big problem is that without the batteries to store the electricity, you have the solar panels on your roof, and what you don't use. Of course, this good news. It sells back to the power grid.
Yeah.
You know, and they have to buy it from you by law. But still, you have. It would be nice to have storage so you don't have to turn on the power when it's cloudy or rainy or snowy.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The big yeah.
I actually have solar panels on my van.
Oh, cool. Cool.
Three of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm a solar owner,
So yeah.
enthusiast, solar panel enthusiast.
Right.
Yeah, 3 solar panels on my van with a battery.
Cool. Good for you. So
Yeah.
you can power things.
I can power things. I can power my life.
You can power your life. You have those little wind-up toys you can power even.
If I want to, I could.
Yeah. There you go.
Why do you have so?
A little. Yeah, of course.
I can tune on my laptop to tune into Smalltalk Big Thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a lot of people, I have small robotic toys that I wind up, and I have them move around the house, and I sit there, amused in the dark. Like most people. But solar panels are
The future.
the fooder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a friend who's up from Texas, and he has solar panels on top of his camper van, which is like a Ford F450.
Yeah.
It's really long, but he says there are all these Winnebagos and that. America's moving around. You don't like where you live. You don't like paying taxes
How did you not
where
like
you're
paying
living. Just get yourself a Winnebago with solar panels and drive anywhere in the United States. And
solved.
they really power up things when you need it sometimes.
Well, it's crossed my mind because I'm newly unemployed. This is my first episode as... I'm not employed. I'm self-employed.
Self-employed.
Self-employed. Sounds
Which in
much
some
hardier.
cases is the same thing,
Yeah.
because I've gone that route too.
Just because I employ myself doesn't mean that I actually pay myself. Just means that
You're
I
doing
employ
okay.
But yeah, it's crossed my mind of why I have this van with solar panels. Why can't I just... I can just go if I want to.
Good. Yeah.
I don't like paying taxes. I don't want to do that.
Well, the other side of that is that taxes are the price of civilization. You like the roads that you're driving on. It isn't
don't,
being
though.
paid. I mean, would you like them to be better and smoother so that you don't break an axle every time you hit a pothole?
My only problem with civilization, though, is that there's no opt-out button. Like, even on junk emails, there's a button where you can opt out.
But-
And if you're in civilization, you can't just opt out. You have to be
what
part
is-
of it.
It's
What
called
is-
Northern Idaho. Anyway, go ahead.
What's the alternative?
That's true. There is no alternative. There
Really,
needs to be
not
some sort of,
really.
hey,
I mean-
here's an alternative opt-out button.
I did hear
I'd click it.
Canada.
I think way back when, like in England and stuff, if you're wealthy, like the wealthy English, they would have like a man of nature living on their property, like in their garden. So that's what they did with like guys who wanted to opt out of society. They could live on this lord's, this is another actual thing. Google it. Where they would have like a man of nature would live, maybe he would maintain the gardens, but he was just usually, maybe somebody you would meet in a modern society who just didn't want to
Like a hermit.
Like a hermit. They would have a hermit on their property, and it was thought of
Not a sharecropper and not a
they weren't
indentured servant.
I don't think they were necessary. Maybe they would do small chores even, but I don't think they were really bound too much to the household.
Yeah.
As a servant, it was more like, oh, this is Will,
A weird guy living in a garden.
But they would call him
Yeah.
William the Gardener, and it would be like, "Oh, you doing, William the Gardener?" He'd be, "Oh, and they would let him. I don't know if you would say that, but it would be a Google it. I'm not making it up. Yeah,
Use the electricity.
yeah. Yeah, or something. As a servant for who's more. So, what? Okay, and okay, so you're a great painter. This is another thing. You have.
Oh, great is a good word. Yeah.
Amazing.
You know, you can keep
World-renowned.
with the superlatives if you want. I love
World-renowned
it.
painter.
Yeah.
Community renowned.
I have about 10 or 12 artworks in the steel plant museum. Uh-oh.
What's that? Oh.
This buzzer.
I think the washing machine.
Yeah.
I think the clothes are drying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that means it's an hour. An hour of fun just flew by.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
Doesn't mean we're over.
The interesting thing is that Roswell has bought about 10 or 15 of my artworks, and one of the artworks they bought was a huge painting I did of the steel plant, of the coke ovens.
Yeah.
One of the pipelines. You know, it's
Yeah.
really interesting that here's a place that probably put more than their share of people into Roswell.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
here, you know.
Yeah.
But what a fascinating place to go back there
Yeah.
with a camera, a couple other people that I'm guiding around. And I actually, for the first time in 42 years, climbed up the conveyor belt. There's a covered conveyor belt with no conveyor belt on it. And I went to the top and took photos from up there. The view is spectacular.
Whoa.
But you'll see that in my book.
So, as we wind on the show, so the book.
I'm looking forward to seeing
Purchase.
it. Yeah. Your other book.
My other
Your
book.
other book. Yeah.
Not just 12 other poems
Yeah.
The other book.
and other works.
So this is the other works.
Yeah.
The other
This
book.
is called Steel. The one that's coming out in a couple weeks is called Stealing America, a poetic memoir of Bethlehem Steel. Lackawanna's Bethlehem Steel. So, how we doing?
I think we're
I
doing.
think we're doing great, and according to our viewers, we're the best.
We are. Oh,
We've reached the pinnacle of podcasting. We're the best.
the best.
There's nowhere to go but down.
So we got all the thumbs up
Or-
and little hearts.
Let's
So
get
many
our.
hearts, so many likes, so many shares, so
No
many
frowny
hashtags.
faces.
Just I can't even read all the comments and all the love we're getting from our fans. So we
Wow.
thank you, fans,
Thank you,
for
fans.
loving us and tuning in. And yeah, go buy this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buy the book.
Yeah.
We will have a reading in the next couple of weeks of this book at Art Space on Main Street near Bryant. It'll be announced on the poetry page of the Buffalo News, probably in 2 Sundays from now. So check it out. There's some really good writing in here. Actually, it's all good writing. That's why we put it together.
Awesome.
And great cover too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
okay,
you.
yeah.
Great. Yeah. But this has been fun, guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So should we take our viewers out with a song?
Oh yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
This should put us up there. Have you ever heard Mark Maron? He's got a podcast.
No.
Mark Maron is a comedian, and he's interviewed everybody, including Barack, from his garage. He's got something like this in his garage.
Yeah.
Barack Obama came.
Is he the Two Ferns guy? Okay, or he's just different. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
He's in L.A.,
Yeah,
you know, and he knows everybody, and they all come to be interviewed by him.
Oh, wow.
You know, he's great.
His garage.
Yeah, but no greater than what I'm seeing here today.
Greatness. The pinnacle.
Yeah.
We keep it lively, and the conversation was polite. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Through
PG
most of it.
We aim for PG-13.
Yeah, PG-13.
around these
PG,
joints.
yeah.
We're not going X. We're not going R. We're not G. We're
Trying
like
to
a
think
solid
if I had an R-rated. I did have an R-rated word in there.
Oh, I don't even. That went right over my head.
Somewhere in there.
PG-13, you're allowed like 3 to 5 swear words.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I think so.
Industry
because you got to think that too. Most of the kiddies don't know what we're talking about. They're
That's
like,
true.
Yeah, right.
Facebook's for old people.
Right. Yes, that's right.
So, okay. Thank you, viewers. And
Thank you,
Thank you.
viewers.
yeah, thanks for just being you. And we'll see you later. Okay, bye.
bye.
Bye. Okay, I'm going to turn the switch now. Detonate.
Okay. Cool.